Well, welcome back to Morning Coffee, everyone. I'm Joe Osamendi, your host, along with Bob Goldstein. But you know, this is one of my favorite segments. Is we have an expert series, and this happens to be the expert series with Workcred. And what they do is they create an integrated, effective credentialing system. And credentialing and certification is so important now because it gives people the ability to come into the workforce, become productive citizens, stuff without spending a lot of time in other educational things that maybe won't pay off for them. So today we have two real great experts. One from Workcred, who is Karen Elzey, who is the associate executive director of Workcred, and we also have Sierra Hampton-Simmons from the Project Management Institute. Ladies, welcome to
Morning Coffee.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Nice being here.
So I want to get right into this. Well, Karen, first of all, this is the first time you've been with me because Mariah Swift is normally here. Why don't you just tell my audience and my viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So as you said, I'm the Associate Executive Director of Workcred, and I focus on projects that look at the market value, effectiveness, and quality of credentials. And in a lot of our projects, we specifically focus on value of certifications, those credentials that are offered by organizations or employers that are third-party validated, that someone has the skills and competencies to do the job that they are being assessed on. So we're really excited. We've had an opportunity to work with PMI, the Project Management Institute, and Sierra Hampton-Jones, and look at the variety of certifications and other types of credentials as well that they're developing and how that really works in the workplace.
Well, Sierra, welcome to Morning Coffee. And why don't you? First of all, Project Management Institute is an organization that actually deals with project management, which everybody's a project manager when you think about it. No matter what field you're in, everybody's a project manager. Why don't you tell the viewers about PMI and exactly some of its history?
Sure. First of all, thanks again for having me on this morning.
Sure.
So the Project Management Institute is a 50-year-old membership association whose general vision is about helping those who practice as project managers who affiliate with this profession really further their careers and assuring that organizations who need project managers are successful. So one of the things that people best know us for are the PMP certification, the Project Management Professional Certification. Sometimes you'll see that after people's signature, PMP. It's been around for over 30 years, and it is the global standard for project managers who are seeking to find jobs and contracts in the field.
Well, tell us about PMI certification. How does it work, and what is it all about?
Yeah.
Well, PMI has a number of certification products. We're most famous for the PMP, but the honest to goodness truth is we have all kinds of certifications. We have those that are more like certificate programs where you're learning a little bit, maybe you have less experience. We have what we call micro-credentials, which allow you to take a little bit of training and get tested on a specific skill. And then we have things like the gold standard, which is the PMP, where it's a professional certification that certifies you have the experience and the competencies to do the job. And we're looking there for people who have like 3 to 5 years experience actually working in the role of a project manager. So we run the gamut, and that's important to know because we really want to acknowledge where you are in your journey as a career, in your career, because you may just be learning about project management, and we have things for that. And you may be someone who's been doing it a while, but really don't consider yourself a project manager. So we have certifications for that. Oftentimes people go for the CAPM in that case because they're not leading and directing projects all the time. And then we have those for those people who are associating with the profession, starting with the PMP, we have those professional certifications that really align to where they are in their respective careers.
Interesting.
Sarah, can you talk a little bit about what do you have in terms of products for someone who might be interested in exploring project management, but not really sure what it is or what they could do with it?
Sure. Yeah, I hear this all the time, especially now when people are looking to change their careers and reinvent themselves and trying to find new opportunities. One of the products we have out that is it's pretty new, it was released last year, is called Kickoff. And Project Kickoff was developed in concert with large corporations, many household names that you would understand as companies, them all here. But actually, it provides 4 modules of free training, and you take the training, and at the end there's a mini quiz to see that you understood it. And after you finish the training, you are awarded a digital badge. And for those who don't know what that is, a badge is, it looks like a badge that you would get for the Boy Scouts or what have you, except for it's a digital rendering of that. Mm-hmm. And you can use that on your social media accounts, like LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever you're using, Twitter, to say, hey, I've gotten this. You can also embed it onto your resumes or upload it sometimes in applications when you're applying for a job. And what that does is it helps people to understand, hey, this person may have this career, but they've learned more about project management and they have this badge. Mm-hmm. Shows that you're trainable and you understand how important projects are for work. So that's one of the offerings that we do have for newer project managers.
That's interesting. I have Sierra, what would be the length of time, or maybe it's a sliding scale that takes a project manager to become certified from start to finish?
It all depends, you know.
Right.
So, for example, if you're going for the PMP, we really are looking for people who have 3 years experience leading projects, actually in that role, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to get your job experience first, because that's important. The test. You then have to take 35 hours of commercial training, and you can go to any provider for that. And that's just to make sure and assure people who are hiring you that regardless of what your role was, be it an accountant, an engineer, a developer, you have had some formal training in the topics so that they can feel confident that you can lead their projects forward. And then there's the exam. The exam itself for the PMP is about 4 hours long. And so you take that exam, and you can take it from the comfort of your home, because we do have online proctoring available for that test. And from beginning to end, it depends on the person, but I've heard anything from it took me a month to prepare because I've been doing this role for so long and I just hadn't gotten around to the test, to others who say that it takes them 6 months to a year because they're fitting this in between their professional life, right?
Sure,
so they have to fit it in between work and maybe even personal life, it's right in between. But it's still shorter than potentially going for a full degree at an institution, right?
And Sierra, what about for the CAPM, for the person that maybe doesn't have that level of experience but is still looking to be certified? What's the process in terms of that?
Well, the CAPM, which is the Certified Associate in Project Management, is a certification for those who don't have experience necessarily leading and directing projects, but they have worked on projects, they want to be considered for those roles, and they want to demonstrate that, hey, let me get my foot in the door, let me get started in this profession. That specific certification is a little bit less rigorous. It's actually aligned to our PMBOK guide, which is our project management book of knowledge, which is the standard for project management. And it shows that you've mastered the knowledge of the concepts that are talked about in that guide. That is far less rigorous. There is still an application. You still have to get some training. And I think it's 23 hours of training to be able to go through that program. And then from there, you take an exam that's a little bit shorter than the PMP, if you will. But at the end, you still have, you open some doors, you get a badge, you also get a certificate, and you can also start, interviewing a little bit more confidently using the language of a project manager.
You know, Sierra, one of the things I think is so important with PMI is that you do a free assessment, first of all, to see if project management is right for somebody. Is that correct?
I didn't hear your question. Can you repeat?
Yes, I said, one of the things I liked about PMI is there's a free assessment that's available to make sure that people can decide if project management is for them or not. Can you go through that with me?
Yeah, well, we do have some products online that will help you do that. It's not necessarily assessments, but,
Sure.
As I said, the kickoff tool is a good way for you to try it out and understand the different types of project management from agile to predictive and get to going there. The other thing people use for kickoff for is if you are what I call an accidental project manager, you've been told you're going to be the project manager for this specific thing and you've never done it.
Right.
Kickoff was really designed to be like your desktop companion so that you can search in the course for specific topics, right? And say, I need to create a project plan. How do I get started? My boss said I need it. So you search and it gives you a step-by-step. It even gives you templates for how to do it. And so those things really help you not only assess if you're ready for it, but also prepare you to take on any task that your job is asking you to master in seconds, right? So that's the intention behind it. And I think, what that has helped a lot of people do is as they go through kickoff, they're actually finding themselves more confident because they have this tool to help them. But it also helps them say, you know what, I didn't have to pay for kickoff. I'm learning about this practice and these competencies. I think I like it. Maybe this is a new job for me. Maybe I can give it a go. And that's before you have to invest money into larger certifications that take more time and more of an investment.
Let's talk about veterans for a second, because veterans come back and they have certain skills that they don't understand is going to fit necessarily into the private sector. Can you address that with project management?
Yeah, so we really love our veterans and actually have a very robust program right now that we're running with Pearson VUE that is targeted not only to veterans, but those who are actually actively enrolled in the military programs across the globe, as well as their dependents, right? So you can use their funding. They can use their funding that they get as members of this elite community to be able to, take our certifications and the training that is required for those certifications. So that's something we have. And that's really important, specifically when you're looking for people who are re-entering the civilian life. In 2021, PMI conducted a talent gap study to figure out, just what is the demand for project management careers. And in that study, we saw that the global economy needs about 25 million new product managers over the next 10 years. So this is about 2.3 million more project managers every year for the next 10 years. And so if you're coming back from serving in the military, more often than not, people say, well, I don't really know how to make the transition into civilian life. And what I find is our veterans and our serving and enlisted women and men, they are oftentimes, while not using civilian language, managing a project, right? They're leading and directing others. They have a start and a finish time. They have outcomes they're supposed to achieve. And all of that, when you look at that language, that is project management. And so this is a good way to walk back into civilian life and use those skills that you've mastered while serving the country.
That's awesome. Really great.
What's so important about that too is you're talking about a time frame. We're not talking about years. We're talking about a condensed area where you're taking and coming back with skills that are almost instantly available in project management, correct?
Correct. That's the one thing I love about professional credentialing. I mean, we've all been to school, and school is wonderful. I think that's a good thing, but some of us just don't have the time or the resources to devote several years of study and take time off from work and not have an income. Some of us just don't have that luxury. What credentialing allows you to do is, in a number of different ways, allow you to spend less time, however, really get tested on the most critical skills related to the job to give people confidence that you can actually do the job. And so that's an alternative, if you will, to really enrolling into a higher institution degree program. There's a space for everyone, but I believe that this is a space especially that is interesting for those who need to make quick decisions and quick moves and do it in a way that's respected by those who hire.
Very interesting.
Well, Sierra and Karen, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back and talk about PMI when we come back. So stick around.
Today's show is sponsored by BCAT, aligning people with their purpose. The Brand and Cultural Alignment Toolkit was designed to bring teams into alignment around their collective purpose and inspire each member to become the best version of themselves in support of the people and communities they serve. Our science-based solution consists of instruments that measure and map and collective perception, of your organization's North Star and practical methods that help each member embrace and align with it.
I'll try a little.
Welcome back.
Well, we're back, and we have a very important experts segment coming right now.
Yeah, we do, Joe.
With PMI and with Workcred, which is sponsoring the series on credentialing, et cetera. And we have Karen Elzey and Sierra with Hampton-Simmons with us, and with PMI. And listen, ladies, welcome back to the program. This is so important, and my viewers are looking at an alternative way to have a great career and in a shorter period of time than maybe, let's say, going the normal education route, okay? Let's talk about income, because it's always important, right? It's always important. How can project management provide a real good income for people?
I spoke to you earlier a little bit about our talent gap report that we conducted, and one part of that report is really looking at salaries for project management and being able to really provide a voice there. So what we found is that in the U.S. specifically, that project management related roles on average were 78% higher than all other jobs in project heavy industries.
Powerful.
So this is saying, like, for example, project managers are making on average in the US $111,000 a year versus the average income of $62,000 a year. So that's a very compelling reason to really take a look at this profession, because it does allow for a bit more financial freedom, if you will. And there is also opportunities for those who are interested in things like working from home and things of that nature, all those things that we hear about people being more attractive to certain careers. This career has all of that. I think the most important thing that I want people to understand is project management is everywhere. You'll find it in construction, of course, in technology, but you also see it in other careers, that energy, if you're working in a mining field or something like that, healthcare. There's all kinds of places that you see it. And even some of the more interesting careers like media, movies are projects. If you look at fashion, that is a project. And so anything, if you think about it, that has a budget, that has a timeline, that has to be delivered by a certain period of time, more often than not, that internally will be referred to as a project. And so it's a profession that really can take you a lot of places.
Interesting. Hey, and I wanted to touch, we talked on the break about the PMI Education Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm for PMI. Very interesting.
Yes. So our Education Foundation is our nonprofit leg of PMI. It was really designed to allow us to really align and support those who are in the education industry or adjacent to really build the skills of project management through life, not waiting until you're an adult and hear about it. So we partner with organizations like Junior Achievement, for example, the Special Olympics, as well as K through 12 schools. And we provide everything from education materials, as well as we also will provide scholarships for people. And that helps people to not only associate and learn about the profession earlier, but just kind of master and build these lifelong skills. Because project management, as well as being a profession, just like critical thinking, is an essential skill set that you need to master in the business world. And if we can start children even learning it earlier as they're building their science project, for example, that really gets them ready to get into the real world and apply those skills of organization and management more effectively.
Yeah, that's really great, the early
On the other
preparation.
side of like youth, there's the reskilling, right?
Yes.
So we've got a lot of people now who are thinking about, they've been impacted by the pandemic, how do I get back in the job market? Are you seeing, things come across your desk where people are adding some of your certifications and other credentials to their previous experience as a way to maybe signal to employers that they have some additional skills that they should be considered for?
Absolutely. Especially last year with the pandemic, a lot of people were displaced and trying to figure out, how do they reinvent themselves? How do I find a new career? Maybe I don't want to be an essential worker working on the front lines, but what can I do alternatively and take care of my family and self? And so you're seeing a lot of people go for different careers. There have been a lot of programs, like with one of our partners, Google. They have a program where they train you in all different things, grow with Google. One of them is project management. And I'm seeing all of these resumes come through where people used to work at fast food chains, who worked at pharmacies, who worked in the mall as a manager, understand and start to realize that they had project management skills, go through these training programs for free, and then go for things like our CAPM and become really viable candidates for this certification. What I see from that is that people are gaining a lot more confidence and their abilities, and we all know confidence does wonders. You know, if you have that language and you can walk into an interview room confidently and say, I can do this job, that goes a long way.
Well, that's so important, because the other thing too is you're taking people's experience now and channeling it into something that's actually sellable as a candidate. You know, and that's really important. A lot of people don't know they're project managers.
Exactly. Exactly. I think it's really opening their eyes. And oftentimes before, people would say, what is a project manager? But they're starting to realize, hey, I'm a project manager. I do it in my life all the time. And this helps people see different options, you know, that they can do for their career. I think that's what's really important is also for project manager careers, you have people who have backgrounds with just a high school diploma or an equivalent, like a GED, as well as those who have, you know, formal degrees from institutions. All of them are becoming project professionals in different capacities. So there's space in the profession for everyone.
Sure.
That's so important, because you know, we're talking about people that have to go back, maybe because of the pandemic, they have to take and reinvent themselves. They may have lost their job after 10 years or 15 years or whatever. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? How are they going to feed their families? And this is a great opportunity to reinvent themselves into a prosperous career.
Yeah,
Gives people hope.
definitely.
A lot of hope.
So Sierra, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, this is so important, and you know, that's what I love about Workcred too. Is you bring people like Sierra to light, where my viewers would maybe have never heard about project manager, PMI, or what a project manager is all about. But it's a skill that's there. All you have to do is translate it into something that's viable, and that's a great way of you're presenting this for a lot of people that really need the opportunity to be prosperous again and get out of this pandemic.
Well, and I think, you know, one of the things that Sierra really highlighted is that unlike some careers, there's a place for everyone in project management, regardless of your educational attainment level. And they have a number of products that fit you and the individual where that person is at the moment, and also provides an opportunity to see where you'd like to be in the future and what else you could earn to get there. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity. And as Sierra said, this is in every industry sector. So regardless of where your individual interest lies, whether that's manufacturing, healthcare, construction, there's a need for project management somewhere in that industry sector.
That's exactly correct. Now, we're at the point of our program here where, Sierra, I want you to look right into the camera and tell people how they can reach you and who should call you.
Sure. So if you want to learn more about some of the programs that I mentioned and what we do at PMI, I encourage everyone to take a look at www.pmi.org. Right? Yeah. If you want to reach out to me, I'm always open for conversation. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Sierra Hampton-Simmons. I love to hear from people and offer up, you know, all kinds of suggestions. And if you follow me there, I also often will post things about new trends in the profession that could be helpful to you as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Karen and Sierra, this has been a great segment. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Coffee. And all my viewers out there, if you have any idea about what project management can do for you, please give Sierra a call. And Workcred, please look at Workcred also, because we're talking about certifications that are changing lives every day.
Absolutely.
We come here. And Karen, thank you for joining us too.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Great to have you this morning, Sierra. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure, and we'll see Karen again over the next couple of segments from Workcred. And thank you so much for joining us on Morning Coffee, and we will see you next Monday.
Have a great week. Take care.
You too.